Walk with me.
Help, O Yahweh. For the godly man ceases, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor. Flattering lips with a double heart do they speak. The I am shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Who have said with our tongues we will prevail? Our lips are our own. Who is the I am over us? For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, now will I arise, saith the I am. I will set him safely from him that puffeth at him. The words of the I am are pure, as silver tried in a furnace of the earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Yahweh. Thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk on every side, when the vilest men are exalted. Psalms chapter 12. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, O God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you on this platform and those shared platforms, we thank God for you, and you. Yes. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning. And we thank God for those of you that have walked in here between there's about. And we thank God for you and those of you that are about to subscribe. For we call those things that are not as though they are. Yes. We're still in the book of Jasher, the book of Asher. Yes, this is a very intriguing book. I mean, it's very interesting to the point where we see how things are done. In other words, as you read in your New Testament, these things are written. They're written to your admonishment that you should not lust, or I should not lust after evil things, and that we should know what is good and evil. Yes. Now we hear how Abraham have the full story, the detailed story of how Abram has come to the point, or why is Israel chosen? Why is Abram chosen? And then you got to realize the whole holy books are written toward the exaltation of the Most High through Jacob. See, it wound up to Jacob, and then eventually it's going to end in the remnant of the seed of Jacob. I heard one woman on a platform talking about she has the seed. Man doesn't have a seed. She really didn't understand. She was saying, man has sperm. He doesn't have seed. In other words, they did not know back then what sperm was. It wasn't called that then. That's called by the colonizer. That's his name for what is going on. Spermazola. Yes. It's named after something. But God called it seed. And if God said it, that settles it. Period. Seed. Nothing else. So we're in Jasher, the 21st chapter, and we're starting at the 27th verse as you prepare. We thank God for this reading of the scripture and how that we understand that Sodom's laws are very unfair. They're very narcissistic, as we have seen in many of our courts all over the world, especially among those who do not look like them, do not live where they live, the stranger. And we understand how God hates when we oppress the stranger. We must treat the stranger as though we treat our own. Yes, not that you have to get married to the stranger or you have to be his buddy and all that, but according to his law, statutes, and ordinances, we should treat the stranger even as ourselves. Yes, but he cannot enter into the sanctuary, no. Of the congregation, no. God said, no, that's not going to be. Nor any lame, nor anybody that anything. So even in our copulation with our mates, we have to make sure our health is up to par. Make sure things, eat right, do things right, exercise, so that our babies might come out healthy and might come out unscathed. Yes. We eating all this other DNA and things that God has not prescribed will bring things upon you that you did not understand and do not understand. Why your babies was born this way and that way and this way and that way. Think about what you've been eating throughout the years or what your parents have been eating. And with that, let's get into the scripture, the 27th verse of the 21st verse of the book of Jasher. And Ishmeal's wife, this talks about Abram. Abram came and he wanted to see his son Ishmeal because that's his seed. That's his seed that came from him. And you can read, God so rightly stated, because the sperm is shaped just like a seed. A seed is not all, most seed are not round. They are mostly an oval shape. The same thing with spermatozoa. It's an oval shape with a tail to it. It gives it a chance to swim upstream. That's the same thing as he done with fish and all the other things. This is probably how, when they discovered it, they think that the fish were, in their theory, that humans started out as fish, and not so. God is wise, and he has more intellect than even your most intricate mega computers and your AIs. No, that's only your input. It's not God's input. And Ishmael's wife answered Abraham. He came up on his donkey. He had promised Sarah that he wasn't going to get off his, camel until, until he gets back. Yes. And he arrived where he knew that Ishmael was. And Ishmael's wife answered and said to Abram, "We have neither water nor bread." And she continued sitting in the tent and did not notice Abraham, neither did she ask him who was he. In other words, she was so occupied with her life that she did not know that this was her father-in-law, as they would say it, but this is her father, the father of her husband. But she was beating her children in the tent. Now that's nothing but black folk. Don't tell me nothing. She was beating her children in the tent, and she was cursing them. Some of you women, y'all just ain't right. And also cursed her husband, Ishmael. She cussed him out too. Now, these things is not new. And Abraham heard the words of Ishmael's wife to her children, and he was very angry and displeased. Now, why are you cussing these people and cussing your husband out at the same time? And Abraham called to the woman to come out to him from the tent. And the woman came and stood opposite to Abraham, for Abraham was still mounted upon the camel because of his promise to his wife, even Sarah. Yes, and Abraham said to Ishmael's wife, "When thy husband Ishmael returneth home, say these words to him. A very old man from the land of the Philistines came hither to seek thee." Now, he was in what we call Jordan. Yes. "And thus was his appearance and figure. I did not ask him who he was. And seeing thou was not here, he spoke to me and said, When Ishmael thy husband returneth, tell him thus this man say, And when thou comest home, put away this nail of the tent which thou hast placed here, as a nail in a sure place." Come on here, my God. "Until it is in its stead." And Abraham finished his instructions to the woman, and he turned and went off on the camel homeward. I'm just excited over this. And after Ishmael came from the chase, he and his mother, and returned to the tent, and his wife spoke these words to him, "A very old man from the land of the Philistines came to seek thee, and thus was his appearance and figure. And I did not ask him who he was. And seeing thou was not at home, he said to me, When thy husband cometh home, tell him, Thus saith the old man, Put away the nail of the tent which thou hast placed here, and place another nail in its stead." Now, this woman could have, their mindset was different than the mindset that's trying to be infiltrated into the societies that are at war with each other. It's kind of funny, but it's serious too. You talk about the drizzle and the sprinkle. These were one people that have influence of their bitterness have caused many to err. This is what's happening. Now, the fact is, this woman, even if Ishmael did not have nothing, she didn't go off whoring to somebody else. She still kept her children, although she hated what was going on and she just cussed herself into the children. But still, she remained where she was in her place. With him is where she knew that she should be. Wife, potential wife, you got to know that your place is with your husband. And husband, you got to know that your wife is with you. When you begin to bicker, and she didn't talk that, it doesn't say that she talked that way to Ishmeal. But behind his back, she had her own words to say. Now, the fact is that in verse 35, Ishmeal heard the words of his wife, and he knew that it was his father. In other words, my father do care that his wife did not, and that his wife did not honor him. And Ishmeal understood his father's words that he had spoken to his wife. And Ishmeal hearkened to the voice of his father, and Ishmeal cast off the woman, and she went away. In other words, he's saying, you got to go, baby. I'm sorry. You're just ungrateful and everything. Did he cast off his children? It doesn't say. And Ishmeal afterward went into the land of Canaan, and he took another wife. In other words, that don't work out. But she stayed there. I can say that much. She stayed there even with her complaining and her bickering and all this stuff because she didn't get the things that she thought she should have, and looked like Ishmeal was trying his best to feed and provide for his family. But after that, he knew his father's words was in code. Sometimes, Dad, you see your son in a predicament, you have to go and talk to them in code. She spoke the code to him. And he said, you got to go. I'm gone. Bye. In other words, I can get something better. I can do bad by myself. And Ishmeal afterward went to the land of Canaan, and he took another wife, and he brought her to his tent to the place where he then dwelt. And at the end of 3 years, Abram said, I will go again and see Ishmeal my son, for I have not seen him for a long time. And he rode upon his camel and went to the wilderness, and he reached to the tent of Ishmeal about noon. And he asked after Ishmeal, his wife, came out of the tent, and she said, he is not here, my lord. Now, she did honor him. She honored him as an elder, for he has gone to hunt in the fields, just like he did with his first wife, but she couldn't see that how hard Ishmeal was working to try to provide food on the table. If you can't appreciate what I do, then you try to do it yourself. Maybe you can do a better job. Maybe you can raise these kids better. They won't come out walking out of the gender or committing all kind of evil acts that will bring havoc upon the home because of you. And to feed camels, and the woman said to Abram, turn in, my lord. She said, Lord, honoring him as an old man, into the tent and eat a morsel of bread. Now, the other one did not offer him bread. She did not offer him anything. And eat a morsel of bread, for my soul must be wearied. Thy soul must be wearied on account of the journey. And Abraham said to her, I will not stop, for I am in haste to continue my journey. But give me a little water to drink, for I have thirst. And the woman hastened and ran. I mean, she gave this. She didn't know who he was. She ran to the tent, and she brought out water and bread to Abram, which she placed before him, and she urged him to eat. So most of our thought patterns are after the Western culture. No honor for the elderly, no honor for the gray head or the hoary head. We've lost that. Our parents have taught us to dishonor. They want to cuss you out. And at one time, even as when I was small, you would get whooped from one end of the block to the other if you did wrong. And also you will be protected from one end of the block to the other if harm have come to you. In other words, everybody was in it with everybody. As one African proverb put it, the African woman wears her baby on her back because the community watches after that baby. But because here in these Western countries, the woman wears the baby on the front because she does not trust the community to help her watch after her child. Come on here. And Abraham said to her, I will not stop, for I am in haste to continue my journey, but I give a little water to drink, for I have thirst. And the woman hastened and ran to the tent, and she brought out water to Abram. And when she placed before him, she urged him to eat, and he ate. In other words, you got to eat, you got to eat. and drank, and his heart was comforted. She felt something. I don't know what this woman felt. And he blessed his son Ishmael. The other one, she was treating him so bad, he couldn't even bless his own son. Look at it. And he finished his meal, and he blessed the I am. And he said to Ishmael's wife, when Ishmael comes, say these words to him. Uh-oh, here we go again. A very old man from the land of the Philistines came hither and asked after thee, and thou wast not here. And I brought him out bread and water, and he ate and drank, and his heart was comforted. And he spoke these words to me. When Ishmael thy husband come home, say to him, the nail of the tent which thou hast is very good. Uh-oh. Hold up. Let's see what he said to the other. The nail in the tent was what? He said the nail in the tent was very good to this wife. Now, if we go back, and he said right here, he says, he finished his instruction to the woman. He said right here, he says, when thou comest home, the nail of the tent which thou hast placed here, another nail is in its stead. You know, well, you need another wife. She's not sure for you. Oh, my. See, the whole book of the word talks to the holy books, from the 66 even to those of the 88. Warns the man, instructs the man. For woman, you come from the man didn't come from you. And every man come from a man. The woman nurtures the man, she delivers the man, and then nurtures him again because her body is designed to do those things. You have no special powers. You have no goddess status because you birth a human being. If that's the case, all lions and monkeys and gazelles and zebras are goddess too. There's nothing special in that. You just a female. But yet a man can honor his female. He can honor him from his daughter to his wife if they carry themselves accordingly. Now, let's continue. You can get mad all you want. It's all in the word. He instructs the male. Now, and he warns the male about how he conducts himself with the woman. Now, here we go again. And he rode upon his camel and went into the wilderness to the tent of Ishmael about noon. Okay, here we go again. And she said these words, and he said, let me get back to where I was. I was in we're gonna go with verse 45 again. Abraham finished commanding the woman, and he rode off to his home to the land of the Philistines. And when Ishmael came to his tent, in verse 45, this is where we are, his wife went forth to meet him with joy and a cheerful heart. In other words, the woman knew her place even the more, was with her husband. She loved him within the statutes, commandments, ordinances, and laws of the Most High. You cannot have love without him. You cannot have love without the commandments. You cannot have love without the statutes. You cannot have love without the laws, the ordinances. You cannot have love with them. Because whatever definition of love, seems like each nation has its own definition of love. There is no set pattern. Because if you read in Matthew chapter 5, that is the attitude of love. And then you read in Corinthians chapter 13, what is that? That's the attributes of love. Yes, it's not love. It's what is derived from having love for a person. And that love is derived from the law. Come on here, even humbles and meekness, as he describes, come from the law. Now, it's not that I say this prophet of that time, not that I don't believe that this is a prophet. I just don't believe that he's God. Now, what he says is true, other than what is inserted in there that conflicts with God and what he says about himself. This is what I'm saying, if you can understand that. Now, let us continue. Now, and he said to him, I'm an old man, came here from the land of the Philistines, and thus the appearance, and he asked after thee, and thou was not here. So I brought out bread and water, and he ate and drank, his heart was comforted. And verse 47, he spoken these words to me, and when Ishmael thy husband come, say to him, the nail of the tent, cold, which thou is very good. He's saying your wife is good. Do not put it away from the tent. Uh-oh. See, they had a thing going on. Ishmael understood his father and what he was saying. He said, it's very good. Do not put it away from the tent. And Ishmael knew that it was his father and that his wife had honored him. And the I am blessed Ishmael. He didn't put it all away. Woo! The wife is the nail. To get it together, the wife is the nail. And if it's very good, do not put it away from the tent. Yes. And the same thing with you, man. If your wife is good, she's not cussing your children out, she's not cussing you behind your back, don't put her away for that. Oh, this is beautiful. But anyway, we thank God for you, and we're here on YouTube. Yes, here on YouTube. And I mean, all you have to do is use your search engine. You're just walking with Mr. Clay. It's there, and all you have to do is it's going to pop up. And with that, we're going to say peace.